Hello and welcome to lesson 48 of the workbook in the book A Course in Miracles. And the headline for today is There is Nothing to Fear. And that is as well the exercise. A pretty short text that we had in the last 24 hours to reflect and integrate and embody that statement that there is nothing to fear. And in paragraph 1 it says, it is very easy to recognize this, but it is very difficult to recognize it for those who want illusions to be true. And for me that means if we attach ourselves and keep being attached to our illusions, to the things in our life that we see through the normal eyes of the ego, or which we perceive in a way as have we perceived for the last years or even decades. So if we are at this point in time in the workbook still clinging ourselves and attaching ourselves to the illusions that we always had in our lives, which is absolutely possible and probably still normal, then it is difficult for us to recognize that there is nothing to fear. And that makes completely sense. I mean, when I reflected on this exercise and actually went through it in the last 24 hours, I had tons of situations where I still had fears or where I wasn't satisfied. Actually, this exercise, probably in collaboration with a lot of the other lessons, have made me be quite emotional yesterday. I was high in emotions, I was high in frustration, and still working with the sentence, but just feeling kind of overwhelmed. Maybe as well the exercise in itself just brought up how much there is still that I am attached to my illusions and still am not able to let them go or change my perception about them. And that's okay. I want to be kind to myself in this, and I allowed myself as well to feel the emotions, to be able as well to release them. I don't want to completely deny them, and I don't want to suppress them. I know how bad that is. I have done that for most of my life. I'm not going to do that anymore. So I just allowed the emotions to be there. I allowed myself to cry a couple of times yesterday to release myself from these emotions that are still stuck inside of me. If I don't let them out, then they're gonna stay simmering in the background and not allowing me to move forward. So that is something very important to me. This is something that I teach, how to do this. So even if the text doesn't really talk about it, I will keep going in that regards with my practice that has helped me the most so far. What was quite interesting as well is paragraph 3, the beginning, because it refers back to our last lesson where we talked a lot about us trusting in our own strength. Gives us, of course, reason to be apprehensive, anxious and fearful. And now in paragraph 3 it says the presence of fear is a sure sign that you are trusting in your own strength, which we learned yesterday what that means, right? And then the awareness that there is nothing to fear shows that somewhere in your mind, though not necessarily in a place you recognize as yet, you have remembered God and let His strength take the place of your weakness. I really appreciate that it touches one more time on the teachings of yesterday's lesson. I shared with you in the previous video that my ego had a lot of trouble with that. So it was good to have this again and even let the ego be triggered again for me to be able to start embodying this and start to let go of the notions that the ego is trying to uphold. The illusions, right? That's what we're talking about in lesson 48. I don't have any particular experience with the exercise. I did it as much as I could. And yeah, it worked quite well in the regards that it calmed me down. It gave me a bit more peace throughout the day. But that's about it. How about you? Have you had any particular experience with the exercise? What did you think about the text? And how do you recognize your illusions that you are still attached to and uphold? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And then I will see you again tomorrow for lesson 49. Until then, love you and bye-bye.